again. It's a real shit.
Oh, that's great. Hi, Hanna. Okay. That's fine. I was just thinking of how I'm going to do with the editing after we finish the interview.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
That's fine. How have you been? How are you?
Very well. Very busy, but that's always the case, right? Probably the same for you. Not nearly as fast at knitting as you are. How long did it take you to finish the top? I've been seeing that on Instagram.
Oh, this one. I haven't finished it yet. There's still ruffles to go with it, but it took me 3 days.
How do you do
It's not very long. This is a crop top, so it's not going to take that long.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's so fluffy.
Thank you.
The yarn.
Thank you. Would you like to say hello to our viewers?
Yes, absolutely. Hello and welcome, lovelies. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Hanna, the owner and CEO of Making Stories. And I'm super happy to be here with you today. So Making Stories is an independent knit or design publisher, and you might know us from this, which, because Instagram is going to show up mirrored. But this is our Making Stories magazine that we publish twice a year. And that carries Cuddlepodshop. I always say your shop name wrong. I'm like,
that's fine.
It's Cuddlepodshop.
Cuddlepodshop, yeah. And some people say Cuddlepodshop. That's all right.
And so this is why I'm here today, because we thought it would be fun for you to see some of the samples of our latest issue, and Irene has prepared some yarn recommendations, I think, and we're here to chat about all of those and also answer any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions while we're chatting, just pop them down in the chat, or there should also be a little questions tag down. That's the way that you can send us questions.
Okay.
Also, we're going to take breaks in between so that we not only have the English version of what we're talking about, but also the Korean version.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. 지금 보시는 분들, 우리 지금 해나 리사님, 메이킹 스토리스타의 해나 리사님 자기 소개를 하셨는데요. 여러분들 지금 보시는 부분에 영어로만 되는 부분, 제가 물론 중간중간 설명을 해드리겠지만 자막이 없는 이상 우리가 지금 다 번역이 하기는 어려울 것 같고, 이 영상이 끝나고 나면은 우리가 유튜브 채널에 서브타이틀, 여러분들 지금 보시는 이 화면의 모든 내용을 자막을 넣어서 또 올려드릴 겁니다. 그래서 여러분들이 우리가 무슨 얘기를 했는지, 또 샘플들 보시면서 어떤 얘기를 하고 있는지 다시 한번 또 영상 보실 수 있도록 준비하겠습니다. 그리고 여러분, 영상 보시면서 해나님한테 또 질문이 있으시거나 하시는 분들, 네, 한국말로 치시면 됩니다. 이제 샘플들을 우리가 쭉 둘러볼 텐데, 여러분들이 질문이 있으시면은 질문을 타이핑해 주시면은 제가 또 물어보고, 여러분들 또 샘플 보시는데 궁금한 점 없도록 이렇게 재밌게 1시간 정도 즐겨보도록 하겠습니다. Okay, so shall we begin with some samples?
Yes.
From
Do you have a favorite one that we should start with?
It's been about 2 months already since issue 5 has come out, right?
Yes, it's been about 2 months. We're almost coming up on the anniversary. So on May 24th, it's going to be 2 months. And yeah, what makes me so happy is that we have a lot of works in progress that are showing up on Instagram, and a lot of FOs already also on Instagram from this issue. And it's always, I mean, I can imagine it's the same for you, you know, when you see a customer knit something with the yarns that they got from you. It's such a nice feeling, you know, like knowing how they interpreted the yarn, or in our case, the design. And so, yeah, well, it's been 2 months. I think that's also a nice place to check back in with the samples. Do you have a favorite one that you want to start with?
Sorry?
Do you have a favorite sample that you want to start with?
Oh, before, because at the moment I'm actually working on the workshop for our thistle. You know, I've been posting about this sample. It's been ongoing for more than nearly 3 months now. It's taking more than I expected initially. So I was going to make, sorry, I don't have the magazine on me today because we've sold out.
That's great.
Copy last week, and actually I had my own copy, but I had to give it to our Cuddlepod ambassador, you know.
Yeah.
She's making the piece on the cover page.
The bindweed, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I don't have my magazine on me, but after the rain, initially. This one, I printed it out just because I don't have the magazine anymore. That's right. This was my favorite pick from issue 5, but yeah, I couldn't get my hands on it early enough. But eventually, I'll catch up with this. This is a gorgeous pattern.
It's an absolutely stunning pattern. So this is it in real life. I'm gonna go back a little bit. And it's such a stunning design. So it's a top-down circular yoke sweater, and I'm gonna scoot a little bit closer so that you can see that the entire yoke is knit in this gorgeous lace pattern with a couple of bobbles, like here. You can see that pretty well. Then it transitions into a plain stockinette body and sleeves. And another thing that I really like about it is that it has this pretty long ribbed hem, which I think balances out the lace super, super nicely. And it's a super wearable sweater. So it's quite oversized, which I think is really nice. You know, it's one of those perfect things that you can just throw over anything, like a simple top or a t-shirt. Yeah.
That's one of the advantages of having Making Stories magazine, I guess. All the pieces from Making Stories are usually wearable and easy wear pieces.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's something that we pay a lot of attention to. We're all about sustainability, and sustainability means for me and for us as a company also that the designs that we put into the magazine are all for things that are very wearable, because that will make sure that those pieces that you knit will be in heavy rotation in your wardrobe, and you want to wear them for years to come. And I mean, there's nothing more sustainable than that. So yeah. So this is originally designed, like this is knit in kid mohair and silk lace weight held double. Do you have any yarn that you have in mind for this one?
Oh yeah, just before we go on to that one, I'd just like to quickly explain what we've been talking. 지금 보신 요 샘플, 요거는 After the Rain. 네, 요 샘플입니다. 네, After the Rain. 이 Making Stories issue 5에서 제가 선정했던 샘플이기도 합니다. 제가 시간이 없어서 미리 이 작업을 해보지는 못했지만 언젠가는 꼭 만들어서 입어야 될 그런 샘플이 아닌가 생각하고 있어요. 그리고 지금 우리 메이킹 스토리스 잡지에 대해서 잠깐 얘기를 했지만은 요 작품 같은 경우에 여기에 레이스 패널, 윗부분에 탑다운으로 만들어지면서 윗부분에 레이스 패널이 들어가고 그리고 버블 스티치가 들어가요. 위에 보시면은 네, 버블 스티치랑 레이스 패널이 들어가고 밑에는 스토크넥 스티치로 내려오는 탑다운 디자인입니다. 그리고 지금 해나님이 설명해 주셨듯이 이 디자인이 여분이 굉장히 있어서 입기에 편안한 디자인이다 이렇게 설명을 해주셨는데 메이킹 스토리스 잡지에 나오는 대부분이 굉장히 입기에 편하고 언제라도 손이 가기 좋은 그런 디자인들을 수록하는 데에 주력하고 있고 또 특히나 이 메이킹 스토리스 잡지는 서스테이너빌리티 지속 가능한 것들에 대해서 굉장히 큰 관심을 가지고 그런 것들에 대해서 굉장히 많이 자세하게 다루고 있는 잡지입니다. 여러분들 아시다시피 메이킹 스토리스 잡지 자체도 리사이클 페이퍼로 만들어지죠. 그래서 서스테이너빌리티 지속 가능한 것들에 대해서 우리가 소비자로서 조금 더 우리가 자연과 환경을 위하는 그런 현명한 소비자가 되기 위한 그런 길을 추구하는 잡지사이기도 합니다. 또 혹시 여러분들 보시면서 질문 있으시죠? Can you see the comment?
Yeah. So we have a comment. After the rain is one of my favorite patterns I want to make.
Okay, so you can read it too.
Yeah.
That's good. So that was After the Rain. So what was your favorite pattern from Making Stories issue 5?
Ooh, that's a good question. Seriously, because I wanted it everything in it.
It's always the case.
Yeah. It's really hard. It's like asking me to pick a favorite child.
But if you were going to make a sample,
yeah. So I have knit. So I've knit the wild grass socks. I've made those in a very different.
Is that your sample?
No, that's the original sample from. So this is the original sample from the magazine. I'll show you a couple of photos.
Yes, this one. Yeah, I've got the photo on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So those are toe-up. Oops, those are toe-up socks, which is my favorite sock construction. And in the original sample, they're in this super fun bright green colorway. And I made mine from a very different color. It's a speckled yarn.
Oh, okay. It looks different.
It looks very different. So I mean,
yeah,
you could almost, like it doesn't look like the same pattern, but it definitely is. But I think this just shows how versatile that pattern is. And I'm not. I don't really think I can pick a favorite pattern, but this is great because it's one of those patterns where you just want to knit one more row. The lace repeat is super easy to memorize, and it's one of those things where you just want to knit one more row, and then finish the pattern repeat. And those are some of my favorite designs. Plus, it has these really cute little bubbles here at the top, so it's the same lace pattern, and then at the top, where the sock would maybe peek out from a boot or something, you have these cute little bubbles. Just really
that's interesting.
Of seeds, like little seed pods from flowers or something, and I think they're super cute. So that's definitely a favorite pattern of mine.
네, 지금 보셨다시피 해나님은 와일드 그라스를 샘플을 벌써 만드셨네요. 네, 그리고 아까 보셨다시피 이 양말이 저는 그냥 레이스 패턴인 줄 알았는데 윗부분에 시드 스티치처럼 버블이 있었어요. 위에. I didn't realize it was bubbles.
Yeah.
I thought it was all lace all over.
Which you can certainly do, and that is honestly what I did with my socks, because I was knitting on them on the playground, and then I didn't want to have the crochet hook that you need for the bobbles with me all the time. So this is knitted without the bobbles.
Yeah.
and it works, but I think it's really cute with the bubbles, so I might make a second version.
네, 리사님이 만드신, 네, 해나님이 만드신 양말은 그냥 레이스만, 버블 스티치 없이 레이스만 되어 있는데, 지금 원래 오리지널 샘플에는 버블 스티치가 위에 있어요. 그래서 요 디자인은, 그 레이스 패턴이 외우기도 쉽고, 뜨기도 쉬워서, 한 단만 더 떠야지, 한 단만 더 떠야지, 이러다 보면 완성하게 되는, 그런 재밌는 양말이라고 합니다. 그래서, 지금, 하나님 말씀하신 거는 요 위에 그 버블 스티치가 들어간 부분, 요게 상당히 귀엽다고 생각이 된다고, 지금 만드신 그 샘플은 버블 스티치 없이 만드셨어요. 근데, 그거를 넣어서, 한 켤레 더 만들고 싶다고 하시네요. Before we go on, I might introduce some suggestive yarns for the patterns we've already shown, which are After the Rain and Wild Grass. Now, for the After the Rain, these suggestive yarns are my personal pick. Probably you can choose whatever yarns you like to knit these gorgeous patterns. I think it's very versatile designs anyways. So it doesn't really matter what yarns you particularly choose to make these patterns, I think. But these suggestive yarns, which I'm going to show you now, is just personal choice. If I was going to make my own sample for the shop, I might use these yarns. So, for After the Rain, my pick was this one. Art Yarns, Merino Cloud. This yarn?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's 80% extra fine merino, 20% cashmere. And it's got a bit of gradation. It's ombre yarn, they call it. And I thought because this pattern has got lace section as well as the stockinette section, I thought it would be fun to make in a little bit of different colors. Because as you knit them, you can see the color gradation. It's actually fun to knit and fun to see the progress of it. So my suggestive yarn for this one is this one. And for the second sample, Wild Grass. Yeah, I like to try this pattern as well. For this one, usually at our shop, we have this Cascade Heritage. These yarns are not particularly designed for sock knitting, but a lot of our customers use this one to knit socks. Perhaps I think it's because we've done a workshop using this skein. Yeah, but for this Wild Grass, my pick is not this Heritage because I think it would be very nice to try Chic Blend by Lani Vanduli for this one. And especially I'm green maniac. I'm a green maniac. And looking at this original photo, it looks perfectly green, which I love the most. And with this color, I think it resembles the original design the most.
Gorgeous color.
Yeah, this is Ramaro color, and I picked this one for Wild Grass. And there's another variety of green in this Lani Vanduli Chic Blend, which is this one. I don't know if I pronounce this correctly. I think it's Italian. Sottobosco. So either this Ramaro or this color will look gorgeous for this Wild Grass pattern. So these are my suggestive yarns.
Oh,
Okay, so we move on to the next one.
Yeah. Next pick is yours. Which one would you like to see next?
Oh, last time when we had a meeting, you actually told me that the most popular pattern from Ravelry page is Yoki from issue 5. Yeah, let's have a look at Yoki.
Let's have a look at Yoki. This is also a super, super wearable design. I'm going to show you a couple of photos from the magazine. So this is Yoki. It's also a top-down sweater, but it has drop shoulders and quite a cropped boxy fit, which I think is super flattering on anyone. So you can see, I'm going to scoot back a little bit. So you can see when I move it up that it has, you know, quite a short body, which you can certainly lengthen if that is what you like. And on the front, it features this gorgeous stitch pattern. So it's tiny cables that resemble a diamond shape that run down the entire front. And then on the sleeves and the back, you work plain stockinette. So you have both in a pattern, which I also really like. You have an interesting texture and you have some stockinette. And so construction-wise, you start at the top and you knit it top down, and when you're done with the body, you pick up the stitches for the sleeve and then knit the sleeves until you finish with these cute little cuffs. So I think this is just a super, as you said earlier, a super wearable design, but also really fun to make. And what I especially like about drop shoulder sweaters is that you can super easily modify them. So if you, in terms of your bust size and your upper arm circumference, for example, are usually two different sizes, which is what often happens to me. For the drop shoulder sweater, you can just choose a different size for the sleeves.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
There are some gorgeous Yoki works in progress on Instagram. Like if you just search for the hashtag Making Stories magazine, you can see some.
Okay. 지금 보신 요키 샘플. 네, 요거는 톱다운 드롭 숄더 디자인의 샘플입니다. 지금 우리가 세 번째로 보게 되는 요 샘플, 요키를 보여드린 이유는 레블리 페이지에서 지금 요 디자인이 가장 핫한 디자인이에요. 지금 인스타그램에서 해시태그 메이킹 스토리스 찾아보시면은 요키를 만들고 계시는 위프 사진들을 굉장히 많이 보실 수 있을 겁니다. 지금 여기 지금 샘플 보시다시피 앞에 다이아몬드 쉐입으로 케이블이 들어가고요. 그리고 뒷면에는 스토키넷 스티치로 들어가고 그 다음에 드롭 숄더 형태로 햄라인이 아주 짧게 되어 있고 이 기장이 조금 짧은 편입니다. 네, 크롭탑 형식의 조금 짧은 기장인데 물론 기장은 여러분들이 또 더 느리고 싶다면 느릴 수가 있겠죠? 그래서 기장은 얼마든지 조절이 가능하고 특히나 이런 드롭 숄더 형태에서 장점이라고 할 수 있는 부분을 보시자면은 예를 들어서 이 암홀이라든지 이 소매통이 예를 들어서 좁다든지 뭐 이런 경우가 있을 수 있어요. 여러분들 만드시는 패턴의 사이즈에 따라서 이 소매통을 조금 조절해야 되는 부분이 있을 수 있는데 이때 드롭 숄더 디자인은 이거를 조절하기가 굉장히 쉬운 편입니다. 왜냐면은 패널을 앞뒤를 만들어 놓고 요 길이를 조절한 다음에 그 패턴에 나오는 사이즈 보시면은 예를 들어서 저희가 미디엄 사이즈를 만든다 그러면 요 소매 부분은 그 다음 사이즈나 그 다다음 사이즈에 나오는 코스로 작업이 얼마든지 변형이 가능해요. 그래서 보시면은 소매도 조정이 가능한 그런 편안한 디자인이 되겠습니다. 특히나 제가 좋아하는 부분을 꼽자면은 이 디자인에서 앞에는 굉장히 화려한 다이아몬드 그 케이블이 들어가는 데 비해서 뒷면은 스토키넷 스티치로 굉장히 플레인한 디자인이라는 거. 왜냐면은 전체가 다 이런 그 케이블이 들어간 경우 굉장히 화려한 반면에 또 약간 부담스러울 수 있어요. 뜰 때도 시간도 더 많이 걸리고. 그렇지만은 제가 볼 때는 뒷면이 스토키넷 스티치이기 때문에 조금 이런 부분에 있어서는 편하지 않나. I just got a question about this sample. Does it have any short rows to lengthen the back shoulder?
So there's two ways that you work to create, how can I best show this? That you work to create this drop. And so one is because you're starting off here and here and work them separately and then join for the body. But there's also short row shaping here at the back.
Oh, okay.
So that makes it sit really well here on the shoulders. So you have the short row shaping here, and then you knit the body straight. Does that answer the question?
Yes. I was just wondering if it's going to be worked separately and then joined later. Sometimes, if you wanted to have drop down for the front, you lengthen the back and then join it together at the shoulders. But it's got the short rows.
So what you do here is you work the front here, and then you work the front here. And
then meet at the body.
And then, and you do the same for the back. And then once you reach this point here, where both fronts meet, then you start working in the round. So then you join all your pieces, and then you start working in the round.
I see.
I get it now. I thought it was a bit interesting to see the drop down on the front without having, short rows or anything if it was top down. So it's going to be worked separately and then joined together.
Exactly. Yeah.
오케이. 요 디자인 제가 조금 궁금했던 점이 요 앞판에 보시면 이렇게 내려가 있죠. 앞판은 드롭 숄더 같은 경우에 앞판은 이렇게 내려가 있고 지금 뒷판이 살짝 더 위에가 올라와 있는 형태입니다. 그런데 보통 탑다운 디자인에서 요런 그 앞뒤의 구분을 주기 위해서 쇼트롤을 많이 사용하기도 하는데 라운드로 전체를 이어서 만들 수도 있지만 지금 요 컨스트럭션 같은 경우에는 요키의 경우에는 지금 앞판과 뒷판 요 숄더 라인 있는 부분이 따로 작업이 되는 거예요. 여기 패널이 먼저 작업이 되고 그 다음에 뒷면에 뒤 어깨 라인이 작업이 되고 쇼트롤가 들어가면서 길이를 조금 차이를 준 다음에 지금 앞섭에 neckline. Could you show us the neckline again? Thank you. 저 넥라인에 여기까지 오면은 지금 여기 길이가 이렇게 맞춰지게 되겠죠. 이 상태에서 앞뒤를 전부 다 라운드로 이어서 밑으로 쭉 내려오는 그런 디자인입니다. 가끔 이제 드롭 숄더 형태에서 목선의 요 파임 정도가 앞뒤를 구분 짓는 여러 가지 기술이 있을 수 있는데 이건 어떻게 되어 있었나 제가 좀 궁금했어요. 그래서 질문을 드려봤습니다. 그렇게 앞뒤를 나누어서 뒷판에 쇼트를 넣어서 그 다음에 요 넥라인에서 조인되는 그런 컨스트럭션 형태로 내려온다는 점. 그래서 여러분들 요키 이슈 5 구매하신 분들이나 여기 지금 메이킹 스토리스 이슈 5를 보신 분들 중에 요키를 선택하신 분들 계신가요? 여러분들 코멘트 있으시면 또 많이 남겨주시고 만들고 싶은 디자인 중에 요키가 있는지 궁금하네요. 네, 저의 I'm gonna introduce the suggestive yarns for Yoki. My pick for this one is actually our brand new line of yarns from Naidyon again. We've just received our shipment recently, last week. This is a new line of yarns from Naidyon to our shop, which is called a Heavenly Blend.
Oh, it's a gorgeous yarn.
Look at that color.
Yeah, everything I pick, I tend to pick greenish color. Anyways, but this is a Heavenly Blend, and this particular color is gorgeous, and I really love this color. It's aquamarina color, and I think it'll look great with Yoki design, and especially with this content.
50% Aquilana wool. Do you know anything about Aquilana wool? I had to research on this particular breed of sheep. It's similar to merino sheep, I think. This one, it's got 50% aquilana wool, with 25% alpaca, 25% cashmere. It's a gorgeous content. And this Yoki design, I think it will look great because probably the cable stitch will look not that definite compared to other line of Lani Vandoli yarns, but it will look very subtle on the front with the cable stitches. And because it's got the stockinette stitch at the back, I think it'll look very soft. The overall feelings for this garment will look very soft with this yarn.
It looks gorgeous. Is it dyed on a gray base? It looks almost a bit heathered.
It's yeah, I think you're right. It says fawn alpaca. I think my understanding of fawn alpaca means the gray alpaca. Yeah. So it's a little bit toned down.
Oh, that's gonna be gorgeous. Oh, what a pretty color.
That's right. So for Yoki, I recommend a heavenly blend. And there are a lot of other colors as well, but my pick is aquamarine.
I can't
okay.
you.
Okay, so let's move on to our next one.
Yes, any particular favorites?
Some people say on their wish list, they've got Yoki as well.
Oh, wonderful. And I see something about bindweed there.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we should talk about bindweed.
I just need to turn on my camera again. Okay.
So bindweed is the cover design. And this is also a top-down construction. We tend to favorite top-down constructions just because they make it easier for the knitter to modify, especially when it comes to body length. You know, it's just easier if you knit something top-down, you can try it on as you're knitting. And so for most of the designs that we have, you'll find that they're top-down.
That's right.
And bindweed is one that I actually have on my needles right now. And I love it. So it's a top-down open front cardigan. That's, again, pretty cropped. I've seen two versions recently that with a longer body length. So if this is something that you prefer, you can definitely do that. And what makes bindweed stand out are the cables. So there's one cable running down the front where the button band would be if it was a button cardigan. And then it has these gorgeous cables and bobbles on the sleeves. And it's balloon sleeves, which I think balance out the body really, really nicely. What I also particularly like about the pattern is that it's super wearable again, but it also has just a couple of really nice things that really show that the designer thought a lot about the details. So the entire edging is knit so that it looks super polished, and you actually work this as you're working the cardigan, and I really appreciate that. And the other thing that I really like is that you're working a folded hem at the bottom. So I'll show you from the inside. Oops. So you can see that the hem is actually stitched down. It's a little bit longer, and it just gives this really nice flat edge that if you were just to knit stockinette straight and then bind off, it would curl up. But because it's then stitched to the inside, it doesn't do that. And this is knit with 2 yarns held double with mohair, silk, and pure merino yarn. But it can certainly also be worked in just, a fingering weight, or I think even a sport weight or DK if you want to have a little bit of a thicker cardigan.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
And I was really surprised, like I said to you last time in our meeting, that bindweed design looks quite different to what it actually looks if you look at the real sample, because it feels a bit different when you look at the photo itself, because it didn't really click to me when I just saw the photo by itself. But when you did your live last time, I saw that sample and I thought, oh, it looks so gorgeous. And the color of the sample, it's so lovely. Because if you look at this photo, I thought it was orange color. Yeah, it looks orange to me. But that one, that color of the yarn in the original sample looks gorgeous as well. Yeah, it looks quite lovely and feminine.
Yeah, it is definitely like almost like millennial pink. And what we did here is that we actually have a neutral merino, so it's light gray merino. And then the silk mohair that we use, that is what gives it that color. So that is what is pink. And I can show you
the yarn?
The yarn,
yes, please.
In a different, that is sort of the yarn that this is the yarn that I'm using. Just imagine that those colors were flipped. I'm doing for my own version the exact opposite. So I'm using a darker merino and a lighter silk mohair. And in the original sample, it was exactly the other way around. And I think it gives it a really nice, very springy, like spring-like effect.
I agree.
Yeah. I've also seen a couple of versions where people have used a speckled yarn with a one color merino held double, and I think that also works really well.
Speckled yarn with one merino, one tone merino. Oh, that's interesting. I never tried something like that before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because with the, so in the silk mohair, you have one color, and then in the other yarn, you have speckles. And I think because of the silk mohair, it creates this really lovely fuzzy halo effect. It quite tones down the speckles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to look for that sample on the Instagram.
Okay, 지금 보신 Bindweed 샘플. 네, 요거는 제가 요 카버 페이지에 있는 샘플입니다. 여러분들, 제가 사실은 요 카버 페이지에 나온 요 샘플을 직접 요 샘플 영상을 보기 전까지만 해도 사실은 그렇게까지 끌리는 디자인이 아니었어요. 저 같은 경우에. 그런데 제가 한 2주 전쯤에 해나님이 그 메이킹 스토리스 인스타그램 라이브로 요 샘플을 보여주신 적이 있어요. 제가 그 라이브를 이제 뒤늦게 실시간으로 못 보고 뒤늦게 이제 녹화된 영상을 봤는데 의외로 요 바인위드 샘플이 너무나 눈에 들어왔었어요. 그래서 보니까 이 사진하고는 느낌이 굉장히 다르게 지금 보시다시피 요 보시면은 약간 크롭 기장에 여기 앞에 지금 오픈 가디건이에요. 오픈 가디건으로 단추 없이 그렇게 되어 있는데 지금 제가 또 한 가지 요 샘플을 지금 물어본 내용이 요 지금 실을 요 지금 오리지널 샘플에 사용된 실이 메리노 베이스 실에다가 모헤어 실을 같이 들고 사용을 했다고 해요. 근데 두 가지가 색깔이 다른 것인데 요거는 여러분 커들포드 앰베서더 프로그램에 지금 참여하고 계시는